You know, you really look at the news or you read the news, and it's really bad. You look around you, things are not good, and really not good. I don't know if you notice, you go to the supermarket, you see sites that maybe were in Russia during the time of the Soviet Union. You see a lot of empty spaces, empty shelves, not everything the way it was. So of course they're going to tell you pandemic, and this, and I mean they try to squeeze this COVID thing as much as they can. And now he says, oh, the price of gas is because of COVID. It's like, give me a break. You look at the way, for example, how things in Israel are happening. I don't know if you know, but the United States of America, supposedly the great ally of Israel, had upgraded their status of the embassy or whatever it is, consulate that they have in East Jerusalem of the Palestinians to some kind of a thing in order, because Biden is going to come to Israel, so of course he has to hand over the Palestinian a gift, so he's going to hand them over Jerusalem. I mean, that's the way it works, because America feels that it has the right to butt into everybody's business and to run everybody's life. Of course, it's the problem of the Israelis that allowed this to happen, but nevertheless, I don't understand why did they have to invite the president over there, but you see how things happen. People are interested today in getting drunk, in having sex all the time, in having free dope, getting free money. I don't hear people are motivated to get up and do something. America, when I came to America 34 years ago, was a totally different place than what it is today. And I'll tell you, it's much worse today. America is losing reputation all over the world as a reliable ally. And for whatever reason, nobody seems to care. Everybody's doing the blame game. It's that president, it's this president, it's that. And it's not only here. Europe is full with Muslims. What's going on there? It's crazy. Not that I really care so much about Europe. Things are changing and not for the best. Now, I was thinking, I said, okay, so where would I go? If I had to go, I said, you know what, I don't like what's going on here. I don't like the fact that, we have and look at this, it has to do with little people and big people. As much as you have people coming into Macy's and just like looting the place and taking stuff without caring and just like, selling it on the black market, and nobody will do anything because everybody, even the cops, I don't know if you know this, people stop wearing helmets on motorcycles. Because the cop says, well, what should I do anything? I mean, they're going to racial profile me, they're going to this to me, and forget it, I didn't see it. So as much as people do that, now you have a guy like Putin taking 600,000 tons of wheat and selling it to the Arabs from Ukraine. He's basically a looter. So where would we go? Where would I go? I was thinking, I said, I don't know. I don't think there is a place in the world that is, call it normal today. Maybe there is. I'm not quite sure. If we're going to continue, my feeling is, if we're going to continue in that path, globally or internally, well, internally we probably, whether you want to believe it or not, I feel, it's my feeling, as a private person, I feel that we are on the verge of maybe even a civil war in America. Maybe a civil war in Israel. Maybe, but I feel that we are very close on the brink of a world war. Because the world cannot go. I personally blame the world left movement into the state that we're at. I don't care what you say. That's what it is. with deterioration of values and so on and so forth. So what should we do? Where should I go? Where should I go? To Australia? I mean, there are like people there for 6 months. Where do I go? To China? Where do I go? Mongolia? Where would I be going? And I think that there's nowhere to go. And with waves of tsunami and hurricanes like this are coming day in and day out, and every day gets worse than the other, and the industry of lying and deceiving is blooming better than any other industry, maybe the drug industry, I think the only place to go is back to Hashem, back to God, back to the values that we know that were tested through time and decades after decades, and basically what got us together until this point. The fact that we are today here, Jews, alive, is because all along, until this point, we held on to our Torah, to our Dat Chachamim, to our Jewish values, and we have to go back with passion and urgency back to these values of what the Torah tells us to do, or what Chachamim tell us to do, to go back to true Jewish values. Leave politics behind like it is the plague. Don't get involved with what society tells you to go back to that. Develop our truthfulness to become truthful people, not to be a part of the world of sheker, the world of lie and deceiving. We have to show an example of how things to do, not to cheat, not to lie, not to betray, not to look for loopholes, not to look for shortcuts. And it starts with each and every one of us, because if you think that the world outside is sheker and only you are emet, you're wrong. If you are not going to become active in pursuing them, you need to develop a zapping shield around you that would zap that. If you're not going to do that, you're going to get affected as well, and you're going to be a part of what you actually see outside and hate. And you see that those ideas infiltrate even the most sacred places in Judaism, which is yeshivas, Jewish homes, and most of all your brains. Ideas that mamash lo si'aru b'avotechem, even your forefathers could not even think about. And we have to understand, we have to go back to these core values. If not, nobody is going to make it. To enhance Torah, to enhance kindness, to care for one another. I remember in Israel, we were used to laugh at people like in America or in France or whatever, or England, that you don't know who your next door neighbor is. You know what? In Israel, it's the same thing. My uncle told me, he lives in a kibbutz, so there's a coffee shop in a kibbutz. So he goes there, he's an older guy, he's like in his 80s. He says, I go there, I said, if somebody waves to me like this, that's a good day. Usually they just nod with the head. They won't even exchange a word with you. You see a veteran in the street, say, thank you for all you did. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. Sit down. Tell him. Ask him. How did you make it after the war to make this place into such a great place? Make America great again is a good idea. But it's an empty word if it doesn't follow with true action from the core in terms of education, enhancing values and virtues in our society. And this is our job to be more polite, to care for one another, to care what it's really needed to be cared, and to understand what's important in life and put this all in the proper perspective. The proper perspective will be the Torah perspective. If not, guys, it's going to be a very long and dangerous road. Go back home. Go back to what we know is right. Let's go back to what we know works. Have a beautiful day.